What's going on, everyone? I appreciate you stopping by the video because this is one that I've been really interested in making for quite a while, and it's all about this bad boy right here, what looks to be an SC Project slip-on, but is actually an SC Project knockoff you can order off Amazon for about $70. Now, of course, on the outside, it looks pretty similar to what an SC Project slip-on would look like, but it's the inside of the exhaust that we're interested in today, and with this video, we're looking to answer two main questions. What is actually inside these cheap knockoff exhausts, and once we're in there, can we make it any better? I recently repacked my carbon fiber Two Brothers exhaust, so I got a good look at the baffle and the packing they use. So I'm interested to see what's inside this knockoff exhaust so that we can know, for one, if it's safe to actually use on your motorcycle, and two, if there's any quality whatsoever in these cheap things. With that being said, let's go ahead and get it on this Ninja 400 so that we can get a sound clip in case we end up making some changes while we have it open. Alright guys, stock exhaust is off. My totally legit SC Project slip-on is on. I want to know some things before we fire the bike up and hear what this cheap exhaust sounds like. I don't recommend that people go online and buy these cheap exhausts off of Amazon, especially ones that are knockoffs of legitimate brands. These brands put a lot of development into their exhausts, and a lot of time and work goes into building up their brand name. So please, if you guys like something like the SC Project or Two Brothers or anything like that, please purchase it directly from the company, and if you're going to do a cheap knockoff exhaust, please get one of the ones that don't have a brand name affiliated with it. I also want to point out that with these cheap exhausts, the fit and finish is never that great. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but this exhaust doesn't actually fit that well. The outlet of the exhaust points directly at the tail that's mounted onto the bike. Now, if you had a tail tidy, it might not be an issue, and it's not an issue on this bike. You have no issues with melting or anything, but it definitely looks a little funny when you start to take a look at it and realize that it's pointing straight at the tail. With those things out of the way, let's go ahead and fire it up and hear what this cheap exhaust sounds like. Keep in mind that the audio is obviously coming from this lapel mic, so it might not be picking up any of the bass or even how raspy it is. I'm not sure how well you guys could hear it once I started the bike, but like I said, keep in mind that the audio is coming from this lapel mic, so it might not pick up any of the bass that the Ninja 400 has with this exhaust, or any of the raspiness that it unfortunately gained by putting this cheap exhaust on there. I will tell you in person, it's not the greatest sound I've ever heard, especially on a Ninja 400, but it is always nice to have a little more than that stock exhaust note. I'm gonna go ahead and get it off the bike, grab the drill, and I'll meet you guys back here when it's time to open it up. Alright guys, we're back here with the exhaust now. It's actually been a few days because I had some trouble actually getting this to come apart, but with a little bit of persuasion from a rubber mallet, we finally got it off of there. I also had to go grab some rivets and things like that to put it back together so I could finish the second half of this video. But let's go ahead and pull this thing apart so we can see what is in it. Still not the easiest thing to take off, even after beating it with a mallet. And inside we have some fiberglass packing and what looks like a baffle. And to be honest with you guys, this kind of looks exactly like what was inside the Two Brothers exhaust, so definitely not what I was expecting. I think most of us have heard a lot about how these cheap exhausts can actually damage your motorcycle and are considered dangerous, but to be honest, I'm not seeing anything that looks dangerous in there. I honestly thought that when I opened this up, I might see only a baffle or maybe even nothing at all, but it looks exactly like what was inside that Two Brothers exhaust, which kind of throws a wrench into everything. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the same quality as the Two Brothers or something like that, but it definitely looks pretty similar, and honestly, I'm hesitant to even pull it out because I don't know what I'm going to be able to do to make it any better. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a metal worker or anything like that. The only thing I was really going to be able to do was to add some fiberglass packing that came with the Two Brothers exhaust, but obviously, as we can see, it's already in there, and I don't really think that that's going to make much of a difference. So now I don't really know where to go with this because I don't want to promote cheap exhaust, but they tell us not to buy cheap exhausts because they're dangerous or they can harm your motorcycle. But we're all seeing here that this exhaust has super similar construction to something like a Two Brothers exhaust, which definitely isn't cheap. Now, I would like to compare this to an actual SC Project to see the actual differences from the real one to the fake one. But unfortunately, I don't have the money or the need to buy one of those really. So I guess we're just gonna have to take it for what it is. I think I'm gonna go ahead and slap this back together, rivet it, And because it does have some damage on it now from me taking it apart and from being used before, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it away. So if you guys want, subscribe, like, and comment on the video, and I'll send this to one of you guys. I want you guys to leave a comment on where you think this leaves us. Does this mean that the cheap exhausts are really just that good? Or does this mean that the expensive exhausts really aren't worth the money and there isn't enough to differentiate that price? I'm really confused on this one because I honestly thought that this exhaust would be super cheap on the inside. Like I said, I'm not an engineer or anything like that. I don't know a ton about airflow or anything, so this baffle or this setup could be completely terrible. But like I said, it's extremely similar to what was inside my Two Brothers carbon fiber exhaust, and that exhaust without any discounts goes for about $800. So to think that this $70 knockoff exhaust had a similar construction to my Two Brothers, pretty concerning considering I spent about 10 times the price of this. Leave a comment down below, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, even though it was kind of anticlimactic. Like I said earlier, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will send this exhaust out to one random person. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you in the next one.